Hello everyone, and welcome back to another manga chapter review. I am the Rat, and this is the Rat's Nest. I'm joined today by Wack Krabs, or Kyle as I'll be calling him for the rest of the video. Say hi, Kyle.
Hi everyone.
Today we have another weekly chapter review. This is Chainsaw Man chapter 99. And what a chapter it was. It was very interesting. We learned a couple things that I think are going to have some big implications for the rest of the, at least for the rest of part 2. I think just starting off with generally, we get to see Asa back. Asa herself, not the War Devil. Now that's pretty big because last chapter we were going with the assumption that she was a fiend. And she still kinda is a fiend. It's just a
here's
half and half
we
thing.
We haven't seen this, at least from what I remember before, in Chainsaw Man, other than Denji, where it's a host dies, the devil grants them life at a price, whereas Denji can has control over both forms. It's Asa and War Devil are completely separate, but they're housed in the same body.
Yeah, I think how it's described is she said, I took half your brain. She said, you died yesterday. I'm the War Devil. I claimed your body. I left half your brain intact. That's how the War Devil describes it. Now, can we fully trust the War Devil? I don't know. I wouldn't fully trust the War Devil, but
I'll go with the assumption for now until we can learn anything else.
It's all we know. With this, we also have Asa basically being what are you doing? The War Devil's objective is to, obviously, as we learned last chapter, is to find Chainsaw Man, get him to regurgitate nuclear bombs. And War Devil's motives for keeping Asa around is, she says, I'm unfamiliar with human society. This should keep them from finding out I'm a devil at school. And she says she knows Chainsaw Man's there because there was a button from their school jacket on a devil that Chainsaw Man killed or something.
Oh no, what it was the devil was killed by Chainsaw Man clutching the button that belonged to the school.
Yeah.
Also, where she says this should keep them finding out I'm a devil at school. Not if you keep on swapping back and forth with facial scars and hair.
That's what we get. So here we have Asa being I don't want to go back, what you call it. And War Devil's I'll kill you if you don't. And then we get to see, I was hyped to see him, the first returning character. We get to see Hirofumi Yoshida, who is one of 5 characters from part 1 to still be alive. And
the 30 or 40, God.
Yeah. He was the lowest profile character from part 1 to survive.
I forgot. I told Brandon this. I didn't even remember him.
Yeah. And because going into part 2, it's all the talk of what's going to happen, who's going to be there. And Yoshida was brought up a lot. And I didn't remember him at first, but I went back and I recently reread Chainsaw Man. I was okay, yeah. There he is. This is what he's doing. He's a relatively unnoticeable character in part 1, just because a lot of the focus isn't on him. But he is strong. We don't know exactly what devils he's contracted with. He's contracted with the Octopus Devil, and he is regarded highly enough by Makima for her to hire him to help protect Denji. But we don't know. We know he also has physical strength, and that he was able to fight evenly with Kwanzi for a couple of minutes. And that, yes, that does come directly from the wiki, because I did read the wiki page of his this morning after I read the chapter. So I was I'm going to need to refresh. I'm going to need to refresh myself on him and what all we know about him.
Yeah, I didn't remember that either. I just looked at the wiki page for it too. And one thing that one thing I just realized, the first time I was reading this and I didn't know who this guy was, I was like, oh, cool. She's asking some random guy, but now I'm thinking she's basically pretty much Yoshida doesn't look like an idiot. I feel like Yoshida's picking up on the fact that this girl's probably a devil, somebody who mid-conversation changes face, scars, hair, and is just swapping personality. That's gotta be a little suspicious.
Yeah, because we know that the scars don't show up, and then they do, because he specifically says, those scars. And also, you can tell it's kind of subtle. The eyes changed. Her eyes changed to be similar to Makima's, which we can assume is something like devil eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so seeing Yoshida here, whenever I first saw him, I didn't immediately recognize him. I was like, is that Denji, but like really weird? And I was like, no, it's Yoshida.
Well, because they said maybe undercover, like changed look to go to school. But yeah, he's Yoshida, as we know.
It was cool to see him again. And it's very interesting. Yeah, she asked him out. He says he doesn't know anything about Chainsaw Man going to the school. I figure he probably does, because he knows Denji. He knows Denji is Chainsaw Man. And I don't know how close the two of them are, or if they've even talked since International Assassins. But he knows Denji, and we know he knows Denji, and he knows that he's Chainsaw Man.
But yeah, I like to believe that he's already picked up on the fact. And then we also, as you said, have War Devil trying to have him be a boyfriend, and then we get the drop of what her specifics of her powers are.
Or at least what she tells Asa.
Yeah, she says, I have the power to turn what's mine into weapons. And then looking back in the last chapter, makes sense. Like, she rips out the dude's head with the spine. It's quote unquote hers now, makes it a sword. Has the hand, quote unquote, makes it a hand grenade. And it's pretty terrifying where she just says, like, I could, if he just was my boyfriend, he's technically quote unquote mine, and I want to turn as many humans into weapons as I can to go to war with Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, and that's interesting because it shows that while yes, she is strong, she's not strong like on her own,
Yeah, well, especially
and even
without warfare. Without nuclear weapons, especially has made the threat of war a lot weaker.
Yeah, and we also kind of, to be fair, Makima was the same. I mean, Makima, her strength was in controlling other people, obviously, with the control devil.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because from this perspective, kind of finishing up the chapter real quick, Ross is like, I'm into serious stuff here. Like, I have to talk to a devil hunter, and War is like, no, you can't do that. I will kill you. I can understand your thoughts. They join the Devil Hunter Club. If they kill Chainsaw Man, Asa gets her body back, and Asa gets put on a team with Yoshida and some other random girl who might survive and might die in 5 chapters.
Who could be power reincarnated? We don't know.
It could be. And something funny on this last page, it's the fun conspiracy theory. Are you looking at it, Kyle?
Yeah, I'm looking at it where it's like, hey, and then she
behind Yoshida, that guy there are people that think that's Denji.
You mean the guy in between the girl and Yoshida?
Yeah, like with the blonde hair, short blonde hair. You would think that's Denji. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it could be. I would probably be more in the camp of it's not. But
what a fucking detail that would be.
Yeah. The most interesting thing with this chapter is that last chapter I thought it was just the introduction to the villain, and this chapter we'd get back to Denji. We're not getting back to Denji. I think Asa is the main character of part 2.
If she is, like, I'm not against it. I mean, it's starting very similarly to how Denji's journey of part 1 started, where, going through life, death, turn into a devil, massacre, and then coming to terms with it. So it's setting her up to be like the protagonist.
Yeah, and slight spoilers for Jujutsu Kaisen here. I think it's similar to Yuji's situation, where it's like he's kind of the protagonist unwittingly because of what's possessing him.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of seeing how that's going to go forward. It's going to be very interesting to look forward to. This is, the first chapter obviously had a lot more stuff here. We get to see Yoshida again, which is cool. Looking forward to seeing what kind of role he plays. We learn War Devil's power, or at least part of it. And we get to see that Asa's probably the protagonist of part 2.
I mean, Brandon, look at it. We on this last page with these 3 characters, we basically have our own Aki, Power, and Denji again.
Yeah,
the gang is all here in spirit.
You could say that.
If this ended up being Power, I would laugh my ass off. That was just supposed to be a joke.
Yeah, no, it won't be. If it is, unless it's done well, I will be very disappointed. I like Power, but like Power coming back is like, could we see the Blood Devil again? Certainly, I think we could. But Power herself coming back, it's also interesting to see Asa and the War Devil, like how they're like the same.
Kind of their dynamic.
Uh-huh.
It seems like a less hostile Yuji Sukuna situation.
Mm-hmm. At least somewhat. We have the promise of War Devil saying she will leave Asa's body once Chainsaw Man is dead. But can she even do that? We don't know. It could just be a complete lie. I think it might be a complete lie.
You know what? I'm gonna go the opposite. I'd like to believe War Devil will give her the body back. I know I might be in the opposite boat here, but I could see it going either way. I could see him writing it to where she's just an asshole and it's like, oh, I've already used you, goodbye, or being like, you know what, the human helped me out, fine, she can have her body, and then kill her.
She can have her body back as a treat.
As the sick prank, she'll say, hey, if I give you your body back, I'll own you. And she's like, okay, cool, and then turns her into a weapon.
Turns her into a pickle. Funniest shit I've ever seen.
I think with that, there's not much else we can really add.
Yeah, I mean, once you get into the Rick and Morty jokes, the episode's pretty much over. So, any final thoughts, Kyle?
Looking forward to see next chapter. I assume next chapter will be them trying to look for a devil to, like, kill it and bring the corpse back to join.
Uh-huh. And who knows, maybe we'll get to see more of Yoshida's powers. And maybe the third girl will become a main cast member, or maybe she'll die.
Who knows? I guess we'll find out in the next chapter review of The Rat's Nest.
We will see you if you're this far in the video, you like something about it, like and subscribe. Check us out on Goobers and Screens if you like us talking with stuff. We currently have a Black Clover book club airing, and after that comes Hunter x Hunter book club, which I have. We're about to start the second to last arc, and at least where I'm reading right now. You guys will have to wait a little bit. But yeah, we will see you for next time for Chainsaw Man chapter 100. Maybe he'll do something special for it, knowing Fujimoto, probably not. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.